I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer discussed his recent battle with COVID on the Senate floor Monday. As the Senate was set to reconvene last week, Schumer tested positive for COVID and worked remotely. The New York Democrat credited being vaccinated and double boosted for only dealing with mild symptoms. Schumer urged other Americans to get vaccinated and then boosted if they have not. Here's more from the Senate Majority Leader.
Well, Madam President, first, let me thank all of my colleagues for their kind words during my time isolating due to COVID last week. As you can see, I've made a full recovery after experiencing only mild symptoms, thank God. COVID has done incalculable damage to scores of American families. But because I was fortunate enough to be vaccinated and double boosted, my case was not as bad as it could have been. I urge all Americans who have not been vaccinated yet to talk to their doctors and get the vaccine if possible, and then get boosted when the time is right. Speaking from personal experience, it makes all the difference in the world. Now, the Senate gavels back in for the second week of an exceedingly busy work period. There's a lot we must do quickly to lower costs and improve the lives of American families. On the nominations front, we'll continue confirming as many of President Biden's qualified judges and administrative appointees as possible. Last week, the Senate confirmed our 70th Biden-appointed federal judge on a voice vote. And this week, we intend to keep going by confirming Judge Michelle Childs of South Carolina to serve as a circuit judge on the very, very important D.C. Circuit. Very soon, the Senate must also take swift action to pass the PACT Act for a second time in order to correct a technical error that arose in the House. This legislation will be the most important health care reform bill that our veterans have seen in years, and there's absolutely no justification, none whatsoever, to delay swift passage of this bill. And most importantly, the United States Senate must finish work on one of the most urgent priorities facing this chamber, addressing the chip shortage that is hurting American consumers, decimating our supply chains, and endangering our national security. For the information of all, tomorrow we're going to hold the first procedural vote on legislation to address these critical issues, which both sides have been working on for months. As we speak, Democrats and Republicans are hashing out the final details on a bill so we can move forward this week. The chip shortage is not some abstract issue. It's impacting the daily lives of millions of Americans. Cars, refrigerators, and other household appliances require chips to function. But supply shortages mean prices have gone up and up and up for those goods, and Americans have to wait months to just get hold of them. If you want to help with inflation and get it down, this bill is an important bill to vote for. And we can take a giant step towards fixing this problem if we act now. Last week, the Secretaries of Commerce and Defense told us plainly that, quote, our economic and national security depends on our ability to invest in the technologies of today and tomorrow. So again, we need to move quickly. Right now, some of the most important manufacturers in our country are weighing whether to make their investments investments in semiconductor production. Many of them are holding off on final decisions to see what Congress does, but they're not going to wait around forever. As one company told the Wall Street Journal, without these incentives from Congress, the capital investment required for expanding production is not economically viable in the United States, given other global alternatives. Other countries have copied our legislation, and they're offering companies huge amounts of money to locate there. And that, of course, will endanger our security, economic and national. The message is not subtle. If countries do not think it's profitable to make chips here in America, they're going to go somewhere else. Countless of good-paying American jobs are on the line. Billions of dollars of economic activity are on the line. And as I said, our national security is at stake. For these reasons, I urge my colleagues to move forward tomorrow. Of course, as we work on CHIPS legislation this week, I urge my colleagues on the conference committee to continue finalizing the larger jobs and innovation package that both sides have been working on for months. I want to see this chamber send a compromise bill to the President's desk because this is so important for the future of our country and for our national security. I've worked for more than a year with Republicans to get the Competition and Innovation Bill done, so I strongly support my colleagues as they keep working. In the meantime, we must take steps to get chips done as soon as we can. This is about lowering costs, increasing manufacturing, and making sure we're competitive with our rivals abroad. The 21st century will belong to nations to invest in technologies and innovations of tomorrow. I want to get there first, but to do that, the Senate must act this week. I yield the floor. No, I do not yet yield the floor. Thank you. And, Madam President, I move to proceed to legislative session.
The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to.
I move to proceed to executive session to consider calendar 989.
The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to. The clerk will report.
Nomination, the judiciary, Gregory Brian Williams of Delaware to be United States District Judge for the District of Delaware.
I send a cloture motion to the desk.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion, we, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close the debate on the nomination of Executive Calendar Number 989, Gregory Brian Williams of Delaware to be United States District Judge for the District of Delaware, signed by 18 senators as follows.
I ask unanimous consent the reading of the names be waived.
Without objection.
Now, Madam President, I move to proceed to legislative session.
The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to.
I move to proceed to executive session to consider calendar 971.
The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to. The clerk will report the nomination.
Nomination, the judiciary, Natasha C. Merle of New York to be United States District Judge for the Eastern District of New York.
I send a cloture motion to the desk.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion, we, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close the debate on the nomination of Executive Calendar Number 971, Natasha C. Merle of New York to be United States District Judge for the Eastern District of New York, signed by 17 senators as follows.
I ask consent the reading of the names be waived.
Without objection.
Finally, I ask unanimous consent that the mandatory quorum calls for the cloture motions filed today, July 18th, be waived.
Without objection.
I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.